Hello, Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Hello, Steeler Nation. Welcome to this breaking news video from the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate. I'm your host, Is Owen, your voice from across the pond here in the UK. So it was announced today that the Pittsburgh Steelers have declined to take up Devin Bush's fifth-year option. I don't think this comes as a surprise to many in Steeler Nation. It was tweeted out today by Adam Schefter. Here, Steelers declined to pick up the fifth-year option for linebacker Devin Bush per source. He will now be playing on an expiring contract, obviously joining a number of others like Deontay Johnson and, at this moment in time, Minka Fitzpatrick. So, why have they turned down Devin Bush's fifth-year option? What is the reasoning behind it? Well, I think the biggest reasoning for me has been the fall off in his play since he had his ACL tear. Now, if we go back to when Devin Bush was drafted, the Steelers traded up in the draft to get hold of this man here, Devin Bush, out of Michigan State. He's still quite young, and his 2021 season stats are not perhaps the best at this moment in time. Solo, 41 tackles, 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble, no interceptions. And as you can see from below, tied 81st for forced fumbles, 150 plus for sacks, 150 plus for solo tackles. Now, Devin Bush, when he was drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Steelers traded up to get him. They felt that he was a generational talent. He was the next Ryan Shazier. He was going to be our leader at the inside linebacker position for many years to come. However, after he suffered the ACL tear against the Cleveland Browns, as you can see in this picture here, his way of playing him as a linebacker seemed to change and he seemed to become a different type of player, someone that he hadn't been previously. If we look at Devin Bush's stats here from the 3 years that he has been with the Pittsburgh Steelers, in 2019 he played 16 games, 109 total tackles, 72 solo tackles, 37 assisted, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, 4 fumble recoveries, and 2 interceptions. In 2019, he looked like the next Ryan Shazier, didn't he? He really did look promising. He looked like an absolute talent, an absolute generational linebacker. Someone that would fit in very much with the fact that the Pittsburgh Steelers, as a franchise, produce such outstanding linebackers, don't we? Right back across history, back at the likes of Jack Lambert, Jack Ham, James Farrier, people of that nature that we produce, these such talented linebackers, and there are many, many more, of course. In 2020, he started the season very well. He played 5 games, 26 total tackles, 16 solos, 10 assisted, 1 sack, and obviously nothing of any else at that point. However, come that game against Cleveland Browns when he suffered that ACL tear, that's when Devin Bush seemed to change as a player and not be as effective as he'd been in his rookie season. In 2021, he came back after that ACL tear, after the surgery to repair his ACL. He's played 14 games. He had 70 total tackles, 41 solo, 29 assisted, 2 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery, and no interceptions. However, he garnered a lot of criticism from Steeler fans for the way he was playing. He didn't seem to be playing with the same intensity, the same effort, the same ferocity that he played during that rookie season. Quite often backing out of tackles, quite often not being able to chase down and keep coverage with the tight ends, with the running backs, as he'd done in his rookie season. I think that this news today that he is not going to be given his fifth-year option is not really, for me, a surprise, given the way that he has performed during the fourth year of his, during this fourth year of this third year of his contract. Sorry. My thought going forward is that this is not perhaps the end of Devin Bush, is it really? This is again a Terrell Edmonds type situation when the Steelers turned down Terrell Edmonds' fifth-year option. It's really much like go on, Devin, prove it to us. Prove it to us that we were wrong to decline your fifth-year option. Prove it to us that you deserve a new contract. Devin Bush is obviously working very hard in the offseason to get his fitness back up to where he should be. Some sort of, I think we need to think, some sort of warnings that we need to think about around this decision are obviously that Devin Bush is still very young. He still has time to improve. However, there are still some concerns that the ACL tear, the injury to his ACL, is something that is going to affect his speed long term. In addition to that, I think we need to consider that last year, the defensive line was particularly weak, which allowed offensive linemen to get to that second level. Devin Bush is only 5'11". He is not the most physical of linebackers. He relies on his speed. He's a sideline to sideline guy. He's a coverage guy. He is not a guy who's going to fight and beat offensive linemen. And last season, he was exposed to a lot of the offensive line getting through to that second level, something that carried against him. Maybe going forward, the Steelers are hoping, like I said, that they're going to have a situation where Devin will prove to them that he is worth a fifth year option, or maybe they're hoping that it'll be a Terrell Edmonds type situation where no one will come in, particularly with so many big bucks, to get hold of him, and the Steelers will be able to sign him on a fairly cheap deal for a fifth year. Maybe they're hoping that Miles Jack will be the answer as that Mac linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they can then bring in somebody else. Maybe even a Buddy Johnson, maybe even a Mark Robinson to play alongside Miles Jack. Looking at Miles Jack's statistics from his 6 seasons in Jacksonville, Miles Jack played on an underperforming team. That's the first thing you've got to concern. There's some pretty impressive statistics there. If we look back at his 2021, 2020 seasons when the Jacksonville Jaguars particularly really sucked. 2021, he played 16 games, 108 total tackles, 62 solos, 46 assisted. No sacks, no forced fumbles, no interceptions. But then 2020, 118 tackles in 14 games, 72 solos, 46 assisted, 1 sack, 1 fumble recovery, 1 for forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries, and an interception. He is a tackling machine. He is fast around the field. He is quick. He is very much in the Devin Bush type mold. And maybe the Steelers are hoping that Miles Jack, and signing him on his 2-year contract, will prove that Miles Jack is actually a replacement for Devin Bush long term. And then they're hoping that someone like Buddy Johnson, or maybe even Mark Robinson, who they drafted in the recent draft, can come in and play alongside Miles Jack. Obviously, people like Mark Robinson are not going to be that buck linebacker that we may be looking for to replace Vince Williams. Something we have definitely missed at that line side linebacker position, that physical presence that Vince Williams used to bring to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Maybe they're hoping that Buddy Johnson will bring that physical presence to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Maybe they know something that we don't about Buddy Johnson. Either way, guys, tonight the news is that the Steelers have turned down that option to take up Devin Bush's 5th year. So therefore, he will be playing to prove himself next season, or playing even for a contract elsewhere on big bucks. Let me know what you think of the Steelers' decision to turn down that 5th year option for Devin Bush. Drop me a comment below. And remember, guys, if you haven't yet, subscribe to the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate, the best new up-and-coming Steelers channel anywhere in Steeler Nation. And look back at that Steel City Syndicate podcast that Mark and I did together the other night, which we're going to be doing every week now to sort of bring together the Steelers week. Thanks for listening, guys. And we're going to finish this as we finish everything with, here we go, Steelers. Come on!